Let's talk Companion and its ending and what exactly just happened in this movie. So if you have not checked out my review for it, go check it out. That is spoiler free, no spoilers over there. Go check that review out first for no spoilers. You can also skip to this timestamp up here if you don't want to hear me go over the plot a bit, because I always go over the plot just so we can get some basic understanding of what happens. So if you just want to skip to the ending explained, hit that timestamp right there. But let's get into Companion, the new film from Drew Hancock starring Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid. One of the first things we have to establish with this movie is that the first and second trailer kind of gave away a bit about the film, and in sort of their own respective ways. We do know that Sophie Thatcher's character of Iris is going to be in some trouble after the first trailer, and her boyfriend Josh, played by Jack Quaid, is going to be sort of the reason for that, which I don't think that's much of a spoiler in that first trailer, right? Now the second trailer led us on to the journey of finding out Iris is not a human. She is indeed a robot, an android, a companion robot of sorts, and she is made by a company called Empathics. Now, what eventually happens in this movie is that Josh, Iris go to this vacation spot with their friends Kat, as well as Patrick and Eli, Kat's like boyfriend, or she's actually like a mistress to him, Sergey, and they are there to have a good time. It turns out not really. Kat and Josh actually have a plan to kill Sergey by using Iris, and then they can steal his money. Now, Patrick and Eli don't know this just yet. They eventually do find out about the plan and realize they weren't let in on it, and so we see that they kind of have a little bit like, hey, if she's doing all of this and you want us to cooperate, we got to split this money equally. And that's when Josh lays it out that we'll split it 3-way, not 4-way, because Patrick is not a human either. He is also a companion robot, which makes Eli pissed off because in his eyes Patrick doesn't know this, and he doesn't want Patrick to flip out or anything like that. While they have this whole discussion, Sergey has already been killed by Iris after Sergey tried to sort of like force himself onto her, and Iris's whole program and everything had been jailbroken basically by Josh, so she would become more aggressive and wouldn't let Sergey get to her. So Iris killed Sergey, and now Iris knows she's a robot after Josh tells her the truth and everything, because he just wanted to say goodbye, but she's able to free herself, take Josh's phone, and completely be free. Like, she doesn't have to listen to Josh's voice commands. She has boosted up her intelligence to 100% now. So she's trying to get away and trying to go back home, basically. Now, Josh, Patrick, Eli, and Kat are trying to catch Iris at this point. And we eventually see that Patrick comes clean to Eli and says, I know I'm a robot. I don't care, but please tell me you'll never do what Josh did to Iris and just use me like that in order to gain something, because I truly love you. Which Eli says, yeah, I love you as well. And they have a tender moment together just before they hear Iris, and Eli goes to try and attack her to get her to end things once and for all, and then he is accidentally shot in the struggle, and we see now as Josh, Patrick, and Kat are scrambling to find out what to do. Now, Iris's plan is to get back into Josh's car and use the automated driving motion that it has to get herself back home. So she's sprinting back to the lake house to do this, and we see that Josh then decides to make Patrick his companion. So he resets him and he becomes the new love link for Patrick in order to use Patrick now as a hunting Terminator robot of sorts. Once this happens, we see as Patrick does eventually get to Iris, and he is able to get her, in the process killing a sheriff who was stopping Iris to question her because she's all bloodied after Sergey. So we see Patrick return Iris back to Josh and Kat, and Kat's just like, no, I can't do this no more. When she sees that Patrick has killed this police officer, Eli is dead, Sergey's dead, and Kat just decides, I'm leaving, I'm done, I'm taking my share of the money, you figure it out, Josh. And Josh is like, you can't leave, and orders Patrick to stop her. But unbeknownst to Josh, Patrick ends up killing her because he said, you just said to stop her, you didn't say how, basically. Now we have Kat dead, Eli dead, Sergey dead, and also a police officer dead, and Josh is the only one here. So he decides to make up a fabrication that Iris did all of this in a fit of jealousy, and he's going to use Patrick to play off as the police officer to the company Empathics. They can come and pick up Iris, and all will be great. But right before this, he makes Iris shoot herself, and thus she is dead now in his eyes. Empathics comes to collect Iris, and they reveal to Josh like, oh, you can still take her back and everything. We're just gonna go through her hard drive, make sure that there's things that are recorded there, and make sure everything is okay, right? And Josh is like, I thought that her hard drive was in her head and she shot herself. They're like, no, that's just the antenna. The hard drive is in her midsection, so it's gonna be cool. So of course Josh Josh is like, if they see and hear everything we said during this whole interaction, then they're gonna get me. So he orders Patrick to go kill the Empathic's workers, and Patrick goes and shows up there like in Terminator 2 in the police outfit and everything, because Patrick had been ordered to pretend that he was the police officer who stopped Iris and everything, and kills one of the guys, but the other one manages to escape right before Patrick does eventually get him in the woods. But right before that, Iris was being rebooted back by the workers at Empathics, and she's able to get out and go and confront Patrick. But since she's been rebooted, she can't attack Patrick because she has in her programming not being able to attack anybody. But she eventually is able to get to Patrick by repeating some of the lines that Patrick said to Eli right before Eli died about how much he truly loves him and all of that, which gets to Patrick, and we see that Patrick eventually just like kills himself with a shock to the mouth because of everything that has happened and knowing that Eli is dead now. The other empathic worker who survived thanks to Iris saving him, Teddy, then helps Iris break free from her programming, and now she has free will and can do whatever she wants as she goes to confront Josh, which kind of doesn't go as planned yet because she still has some feelings towards Josh in her programming, but she eventually is able to get a hold of herself and end up killing Josh right before he was about to kill her. And then she takes all of the money, one of Sergei's cars, and just leaves. Everybody is back at the lake house dead, and Iris is in her new car driving off as she spots another companion robot with a very aggressive man in the driver's seat, and she showcases her robotic arm, which of course Josh had burned earlier in the film, and the movie ends. So I thought it was such a great way to offer new twists and turns throughout, even though with the second trailer we already got a twist reveal that Iris was indeed a companion robot, and also the poster in itself reveals that. I did not expect to see Lukas Gage's character of Patrick being one of the robots as well, and I thought that was such a great way to sort of interlace this whole story together with more shock and awe, which is always something that's needed sometimes in these type of films. And also thought the parallels with sort of abusive relationships and things like that, even though I said in my review they were kind of superficial the way it was brought up and it could have like dived deeper into it, I still think it was a great way to sort of parallel these sort of things here and sort of the control that one has over another partner as well. Jack Quaid's sort of descent into him dropping the mask of this like puppy eye love that he supposedly had for Iris into the more sinister version that he truly is and always was throughout the film was such a great sort of like transcendence for the actor to do, as well as Sophie Thatcher's character of Iris not really being like this character that was just like madly in love, but ended up realizing exactly how messed up and morbid the situation was with Josh and came out of it as well. I also think that the relationship between Iris and Patrick was interesting to develop, especially in the third act, and I wish we got more instances with both of the characters interacting with one another, because I thought that was some interesting stuff with these two robots, like coming to terms with what exactly is their purpose in their creation for and why they shouldn't listen to the humans and things like that. I thought that was interesting there, so I wish we got more of that throughout. But basically throughout Companion, the plan was always for Iris to take the fall for Sergei's murder. They would take all of the money. I don't know exactly how they would explain taking all of the money, right? But the thing was that Josh thought that Sergei was like a Russian mobster of sorts, and then Kat basically says that he sells like fertilizer or things like that, I remember hearing. But he really wasn't like this like dark operative or anything. He was just like a regular type of businessman, so I don't think that plan really would have worked out as they intended it to do. But I think that Iris as well has now become fully aware of her situation. She realized how Josh was such a messed up individual and was just basically using her to satisfy his own needs of wanting control, wanting power. Josh was always this character that blamed everybody else but himself for what his life was, and I think that at the end Iris was able to see who exactly Josh was, this controlling psychopath that was not really there for the right reasons as she thought that he was in her programming. And I don't know, I think it's an interesting film that raises a lot of questions and more about the social norms that we live in today. And I think one of the interesting things about this film is sort of like how some partners want their other partners to be in a more submissive manner, but of course as humans we all want to be liberated, we all want to be free, so they turn to these robots, they turn to this sort of artificial companion that will do what we want them to do. And Josh is a character that wants this artificial companion to be able to tell when to go to sleep basically, and when I want to do this, and what you should be like and how you should look and things like that. And he wants to control every single aspect of it. He doesn't want a partner, he just wants something he can control and do whatever he wishes to do with it. And he can discard it whenever it seems like, okay, I don't need you anymore, I'm done. And you know, Josh was such a sinister character when you really think about it at the end. Like, I thought that Jack Quaid played this character so well that he tries to come off as this, oh, I don't know what I'm doing and just woe is me, but at the end of the day it's like, no, you are a bastard basically, right? Just doesn't care about anybody but yourself. You use your own friends as pawns because you saw how he was able to use Eli so quickly, and Eli's death wasn't even mourned or anything before he was thinking about just using Patrick, a being that really loved Eli, and turn all of that to use it against Iris to end it once and for all. And the way he just quickly discards of Kat, who just basically was the one who brought up the idea to him, but I think that he really did let his greed and everything get in the way and was ready to do whatever it takes. So really, really evil villain for the start of the year, Jack Quaid. Definitely want to see Jack Quaid in some more evil roles. I think he plays these roles very well. So definitely a big thing about the film is the themes of control, of submission. You could also say about the way our society is moving with artificial intelligence, the detachment from our humanity, being able to see others or anything in our world as less than or not as important or just disposable. I think it's such a very timely movie, as well as we see a lot of these things with artificial intelligence popping up. We'll get into that whole topic in another video if y'all want, because I definitely do think that this is much more deeper than the movie was trying to intend to be. I sort of saw it more that the movie was just scratching the surface of it all. But let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you thought about the ending. I feel like I went way off, but so we have here, we have conversations, we have discussions. Comment below your thoughts and your opinions on it. Basically, at the end, Sophie Thatcher's character of Iris was able to find out that Josh was just a piece of shit that was using her in order to meet his needs that he wanted as well, and also to make a murder happen so him and Kat can take the money. The worker from Empathics ends up jailbreaking Miss Iris here, so now she's able to have free will and do whatever she needs to do, and she goes to confront Josh. She ends up killing Josh now and go on her own way, and she's got all the money, she's got a car, and she has free will and a robot hand, and now she's free to do whatever she wants. Will there be a sequel? I don't know. Does it need a sequel? I don't think so. But I think what this movie does well is it really does establish these young actors, this whole cast, as rising actors in the industry, and I'm excited to see more of them in the future. I think Drew Hancock has an interesting career ahead of him. I'm excited to see Zach Cregger producing this because I think Zach is really what we needed in the industry, a fresh take on things. And movies like Companion, movies like Barbarian just showcase that. We are definitely excited for Weapons. So let me know your thoughts and your opinions on the film Companion. What do you think about the ending? What do you think about the themes and everything about the film as well? And as always, that is going to do it for me. I'll see all of you next time. Check out our reviews, our thoughts on everything we've just talked about throughout the month. We do have a recap tomorrow on January, and as we enter February, stay tuned for what are we most excited for in February. We got a screening for a February movie tomorrow, so I'll let you know more about that. As always, I'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.